What happens when a casual morning show conversation turns into a full-blown confrontation that nobody saw coming? Kelly Clarkson, one of the most beloved voices in music, walked onto the set of Today with Jenna and Friends, expecting a light, fun interview. What she got instead was a heated exchange that left everyone in the studio speechless and ended with her walking off set. If you want to see how a simple question spiraled into chaos, make sure you hit that subscribe button and drop a comment below telling us what you think really happened here. Now let's get into it. The morning started like any other at the Today Show studio. Kelly Clarkson arrived with her usual energy, that genuine warmth she's known for. She greeted Jenna Hager, and the other hosts, Hoda Kotb and Savannah Guthrie, with hugs and smiles. The audience was buzzing with excitement. Kelly had just released new music, and everyone was eager to hear about her creative process, her kids, and of course, her wildly successful talk show. The cameras started rolling, and everything seemed perfect. Jenna kicked things off with enthusiasm. "Kelly, we are so excited to have you here. You look absolutely amazing, and we have so much to talk about. Your new album is getting incredible reviews." Kelly beamed, settling into the couch. "Thank you so much. I'm really proud of this one. It's been a journey, really digging deep and being vulnerable in ways I haven't been before." Savannah leaned forward, nodding. "We can hear that in the music. There's a rawness to it. A lot of people are saying this is your most personal work yet. Can you talk about what inspired that shift?" Kelly took a breath, clearly ready to open up. "Well, I think when you go through major life changes, and I've had my share, you start to see things differently. You stop worrying so much about what people think, and you just let yourself feel everything. The good, the bad, the messy parts. This album is me not hiding anymore." The audience applauded, and Hoda smiled warmly. "That takes real courage, Kelly, and your fans have been so supportive through everything." "They really have," Kelly agreed, her voice softening. "I wouldn't be here without them. They've seen me at my highest and my lowest, and they've never wavered. That means everything." Jenna, who had been listening intently, shifted in her seat. "Speaking of support, there's been a lot of conversation lately about how women in the industry support each other, or sometimes don't. You've worked with so many incredible female artists over the years. Do you feel like there's genuine sisterhood in the music business, or is it more competitive than people realize?" Kelly's expression changed slightly, a flicker of something guarded crossing her face. "I think it depends. I've had amazing experiences with women who genuinely want to lift each other up, but I'd be lying if I said it was always that way. There's pressure, there's comparison, and sometimes that creates tension." Savannah jumped in. "That's interesting because there was that moment a few years ago at an awards show where you and another artist seemed to have a bit of a cold interaction. People are still talking about it online. Was there actual tension there? Or was that just media spin?" The energy in the room shifted. Kelly's smile became more fixed. "I think people read into things that aren't there. We're all human. Not every interaction is going to be this big, warm moment, especially when cameras are everywhere and everyone's exhausted." Jenna wasn't letting it go. "But you can understand why people were curious, right? You both were up for the same award, and there was that whole thing with the producers, and, social media went crazy." Kelly's jaw tightened just slightly. "Social media goes crazy over everything, Jenna. That doesn't mean there's a story there." Hoda, sensing the tension building, tried to redirect. "Let's talk about your talk show, Kelly. You've created such a fun, positive space. What's been your favorite moment so far?" But Jenna wasn't done. She had that look, the one journalists get when they think they're onto something. "Before we move on, I just think it's important to address these things. Women supporting women is such a huge conversation right now, and you have such a platform. Don't you think being transparent about the challenges, the real dynamics, would help other women navigate these industries?" Kelly's demeanor changed completely. The warmth was gone, replaced by something sharper. "I am transparent, Jenna. I talk about real things all the time. What I don't do is feed into gossip or give people ammunition to create drama where there isn't any. There's a difference between being honest and being exploited for clicks." The studio went quiet. Savannah and Hoda exchanged glances. The audience didn't know where to look. Jenna, clearly taken aback, but trying to maintain composure, pressed on. "I don't think asking about your relationships with other artists is exploitation. Kelly, it's a valid question about an industry you're a major part of." Kelly leaned forward, her voice steady but firm. "No, What you're doing is trying to get me to validate a narrative that doesn't exist. You want me to confirm some catfight story because that's what sells? That's what gets people talking. But I'm not going to do that. I've spent too many years being pitted against other women, and I'm done with it. Jenna's face flushed. That's not what I'm trying to do at all. I'm trying to have an honest conversation about something people are genuinely curious about. People are curious because outlets keep pushing these stories, Kelly shot back. You're sitting here on national television asking me to dissect a 2-second interaction from years ago. Why? What purpose does that serve, except to create division? Savannah attempted to intervene. Kelly, I think what Jenna is trying to say is— I know what she's trying to say, Kelly interrupted, her voice rising slightly. And I'm telling you all that I'm not interested in playing this game. I came here to talk about my music, my life, my actual work. Not to be interrogated about perceived drama that, frankly, nobody involved even thinks about anymore, except people looking for content. The tension was palpable. Hoda tried again. Why don't we take a quick break? But Jenna cut her off, her own frustration now visible. Kelly, with all due respect, you're being defensive about a simple question. If there's nothing there, why are you so upset? Kelly's eyes flashed. Because I'm tired. Jenna, I'm tired of doing interviews where I get ambushed with questions designed to make me look bad no matter how I answer. If I engage, I'm feeding drama. If I don't, I'm being defensive or difficult. It's a lose-lose situation, and you know it. Nobody's trying to make you look bad, Jenna insisted, but her tone suggested otherwise. We're just having a conversation. This isn't a conversation, Kelly replied, standing up now. A conversation is two-way. This is you trying to extract something from me that you can use. There's a difference. The entire studio was frozen. Camera operators didn't know whether to keep filming. The producers in the control room were frantically trying to figure out what to do. Jenna stood up as well, her professional composure cracking. You know what, Kelly? Maybe if you weren't so guarded all the time, people wouldn't have to ask these questions. You talk about being vulnerable in your music, but you can't handle one question about your professional relationships. Kelly's laugh was sharp, humorless. Guarded? I've been nothing but open about my life. I've talked about my divorce, my struggles, my insecurities, everything. But I get to choose what I share and when. I don't owe you or anyone else every single detail of my existence just because I'm famous. Savannah stood, trying to physically position herself between them. Okay, let's everyone just take a breath here. This is getting heated, and I don't think anyone wants no let her finish, Kelly said, her eyes locked on Jenna, because I want to understand what you think I owe you. What exactly do you think I should be sharing that I'm not? Jenna crossed her arms. I think if you're going to present yourself as this champion of women, then you should be willing to have real conversations about what that actually looks like in practice. The good and the bad. Not just the sanitized version. Champion of women, Kelly repeated, her voice incredulous. I've never claimed to be anyone's champion. I'm just a woman trying to do my job and live my life. And part of that is setting boundaries about what I will and won't discuss. That's not being fake, that's being smart. It's protecting my peace and my relationships. Hoda moved closer, her voice gentle but urgent. Ladies, we have an audience here. We have viewers at home. Maybe we can what? Hoda? Kelly turned to her. Pretend this didn't happen. Smile and pivot to a cooking segment. I'm not doing that. If we're going to have this conversation, let's actually have it. Jenna seized the moment. Fine, let's have it. You say you set boundaries, but from where I'm sitting, it looks like you only want to control the narrative. You only want to talk about things on your terms, in your space, on your show. The moment someone else asks you something you don't like, you shut down. Kelly's face went red. That is not what's happening here, and you know it. There's a difference between controlling a narrative and refusing to participate in manufactured drama. You came into this interview with an agenda. Don't pretend you didn't. I came in wanting to have an honest conversation with you, Jenna fired back. But clearly you're not capable of that unless you're the one asking the questions. The audience gasped. Several people looked uncomfortable, unsure if they should even be witnessing this. Savannah put her hand on Jenna's arm. Jenna, come on. This isn't. Jenna pulled her arm away. No, Savannah. I'm not going to apologize for asking real questions. That's literally our job. We're journalists. If Kelly can't handle that, maybe she shouldn't be doing press. Kelly's eyes widened. Wow. So now we're questioning whether I should be doing press at all. Because I won't give you what you want. That's really rich, coming from someone who built her entire career on her family name and access. The room went completely silent. It was a direct hit, and everyone knew it. Jenna's face went pale, then flushed again with anger. Excuse me? That's completely out of line. Is it? Kelly challenged. You want to talk about authenticity and earning things? Let's talk about it. Let's talk about how you've never had to struggle for an opportunity in your life. Let's talk about doors that were opened for you before you even knocked. But sure, lecture me about being real. Hoda stepped between them, fully now. Kelly, that's enough. Jenna works incredibly hard, and you know that's not fair. Kelly turned to Hoda, her voice still heated but slightly less aggressive. You're right, Hoda, that wasn't fair. But neither is sitting here being accused of being fake or controlling because I won't feed into gossip. I've worked my entire life to get where I am. I won American Idol when I was nobody. I didn't have connections or money or a famous last name. I had my voice and my determination. So forgive me if I'm protective of my career and my reputation. Savannah tried once more to de-escalate. Kelly, nobody's questioning your talent or your journey. I think things just got out of hand here. We all need to take a step back. But Jenna wasn't backing down. No, I want to address what she just said about me. You don't know anything about my journey, Kelly. You don't know what I've had to prove or overcome? Yes, I come from a famous family. I can't change that. But I've worked to build my own career, to be taken seriously as a journalist, to be more than just a name. So don't stand there and diminish that because you're upset about a question. Kelly's voice dropped, becoming quieter but somehow more intense. I'm not upset about a question, Jenna. I'm upset about the intention behind it. You didn't ask me about that awards show moment because you were genuinely curious. You asked because you wanted you wanted me to either throw someone under the bus or look evasive. That's not journalism. That's tabloid tactics dressed up as conversation. That's your interpretation, Jenna countered, and maybe it says more about you than it does about my question. Maybe you're so used to controlling every interview, every narrative, that you can't handle someone actually pushing back. Kelly shook her head slowly. You really don't get it, do you? This isn't about control. This is about respect. Respecting boundaries, respecting that public figures are still human. Beings with feelings and relationships that don't exist for your entertainment. I've been doing this for over 20 years. I've sat through thousands of interviews. I know the difference between a genuine question and a setup. Savannah's voice was pleading now. Can we please just pause for a moment? We can go to commercial. We can regroup. We can what? Kelly interrupted, looking at all three hosts now. Pretend this is salvageable. I don't think it is. I came here in good faith, and I was met with ambush questions. And then, when I defended myself, I was told I'm being difficult. That I can't handle real journalism. Do you understand how insulting that is? Hoda spoke softly. Kelly, I don't think anyone meant to insult you. I think we're all just passionate and things escalated. Passionate, Kelly repeated, a bitter edge to her voice. That's a nice word for it. Here's what I'm passionate about, Hoda. I'm passionate about not letting people twist my words. I'm passionate about not contributing to the kind of toxic culture that makes women tear each other down. And I'm passionate about knowing when it's time to walk away from a situation that isn't serving anyone. Jenna's eyebrows shot up. So you're just going to leave. Walk off in the middle of an interview because you didn't like where it went. I'm leaving because this stopped being an interview the moment you decided to make it an interrogation, Kelly said, already reaching for her microphone pack. And because I have enough self-respect to not sit here and be made to feel like I'm the problem for having boundaries, Savannah reached out. Kelly, please. Let's just talk this through. Off camera if you want. We can figure this out. Kelly paused, looking at Savannah with something like sadness. Savannah, you've always been kind to me, and I appreciate that. But I can't stay here and pretend everything's fine. It's not, and I'm not going to smile and play nice just to make this easier for everyone else. That's exactly the kind of thing I'm trying not to do anymore. Jenna let out a frustrated breath. This is unbelievable. You're really going to make this into some big dramatic exit instead of just having an adult conversation. Kelly turned back to her, and when she spoke, her voice was cold and measured. An adult conversation requires two adults. Jenna, what you're doing is trying to bully me into giving you what you want by making me look unreasonable. But I'm not unreasonable. I'm just done. You're being incredibly unprofessional right now, Jenna said, her voice rising. We have an audience. We have viewers. We have a show to do. Then do your show, Kelly replied, unhooking her microphone. But you're going to have to do it without me because I'm not participating in this anymore. I've been in this industry long enough to know when something isn't right, and this isn't right. Hoda moved toward Kelly, her expression genuinely distressed. Kelly, I'm asking you as someone who considers you a friend. Please don't leave like this. We can work this out. We can have a real conversation about what went wrong here. Kelly's expression softened slightly when she looked at Hoda. Hoda, I know you mean well. I really do. But this isn't something that can be fixed right now. Maybe later, maybe off camera, but not here. Not like this. I came here to promote my album, to connect with people who support my music. Instead, I got pulled into exactly the kind of situation I try to avoid. And that's on me for not seeing it coming, but I can fix it by leaving. Savannah was nearly pleading now, but leaving makes it worse. Kelly, it makes it a bigger story than it needs to be. If you stay, we can move past this. We can talk about your music like you wanted. We can end on a positive note. Kelly shook her head. No, we can't, because the damage is done, Savannah. Everyone in this room, everyone watching at home, they all just saw what happened. They saw me get questioned about gossip. They saw me defend myself, and they saw me get called defensive for doing it. There's no recovering from that in the next 10 minutes. The story is already written. The only choice I have now is whether I participate in the rest of it or not, and I'm choosing not. Jenna crossed her arms tighter. So, you're just going to leave us here to deal with the fallout. That's really classy, Kelly, the fallout. Kelly's voice rose again. Jenna, you created this situation. You asked the questions that led us here. You pushed and pushed even when it was clear I wasn't comfortable. And now you want to blame me for the fallout? That's exactly the problem. That's exactly why I need to leave. Because somehow, some way, this is going to get turned around and made into me being the difficult diva who couldn't handle a simple interview. And I'm not giving you any more footage to make that story easier to tell. A producer finally stepped onto the set, speaking quietly to Savannah. The audience was completely silent now. Watching this unfold like a car crash they couldn't look away from, Hoda tried one more time. Kelly, what can we do? Tell us what you need right now to make this okay. Kelly looked at her for a long moment, and when she spoke, her voice was tired. What I need, Hoda, is for people to understand that I'm not a product. I'm not content. I'm a person, and when I say I don't want to talk about something that should be respected, not challenged. What I need is for interviewers to remember that their job is to highlight their guests, not to create drama at their expense. But I can't make any of you understand that if you don't already. So what I need right now is to leave with whatever dignity I have left. Savannah's eyes were glistening. I'm so sorry this happened. I really am. This isn't what any of us wanted. I believe you, Savannah, Kelly said quietly, but it happened anyway. And I have to protect myself because no one else in this room is going to do it for me. Jenna finally uncrossed her arms, and for the first time, she looked uncertain. Kelly, look, maybe I pushed too hard. Maybe I should have backed off when you got uncomfortable. But I wasn't trying to hurt you. I was trying to do my job. Kelly met her eyes. Your job is to interview people, Jenna, not to interrogate them. There's a difference, and you should know it by now. A good interviewer knows when to push and when to let go. They know how to get authentic moments without making their guests feel attacked. What you did today wasn't good interviewing. It was aggressive, and it was designed to get a reaction. Well, you've got one. I hope it was worth it. The words hung in the air between them. Jenna opened her mouth, then closed it again, seemingly at a loss. Hoda spoke gently. Where does this leave us, Kelly? With you and the show, with all of us. Kelly sighed, the fight seeming to drain out of her. I don't know, Hoda. I really don't. Right now, I'm hurt and I'm angry and I just need to get out of here. Maybe down the road we can all sit down and have that real conversation you're talking about. But it can't be today and it can't be on camera. She picked up her bag from beside the couch and the simple action felt monumental. The audience watched in stunned silence as one of the biggest stars in music prepared to walk off a major. Morning show. Savannah made one last attempt. Kelly, the door is always open. Whenever you're ready to talk, we're here. I mean that. Kelly nodded, her expression unreadable. "I appreciate that, Savannah. I really do. But right now, I just need to go." She turned toward the exit, then paused and looked back at the three hosts. "For what it's worth, I didn't want this to happen. I didn't come here looking for a fight. I came here excited to share my music with people. But I've learned that sometimes you have to walk away from things that don't feel right, even when it's hard. Especially when it's hard. That's what this album is about. Finding your voice and using it, even when people don't want to hear what you have to say." With that, Kelly Clarkson walked off the set of Today with Jenna and Friends, leaving three stunned hosts, a shocked audience, and a crew that had no idea how to end the segment. The cameras kept rolling as Jenna, Savannah, and Hoda looked at each other, the weight of what just happened settling over everyone. Hoda was the first to speak, her voice shaky. "Well, that was not how any of us expected this morning to go." Jenna sat back down heavily, her face a mixture of emotions. She looked at the camera, then away, clearly struggling with what to say. Savannah addressed the audience directly. "I think we all need a moment to process what just happened. These are real people having real reactions to a difficult situation, and that includes all of us." The tension in the studio was suffocating. The audience didn't know if they should applaud, stay silent, or leave. The producers were frantically trying to figure out how to transition to anything that could possibly follow what everyone had just witnessed. Jenna finally looked at the camera. "Sometimes interviews don't go the way anyone plans. Sometimes emotions run high and people say things they might not mean, or they react in ways that surprise everyone, including themselves. I don't know what else to say right now, except that this was difficult for all of us." Hoda put her hand on Jenna's shoulder, a gesture of support that spoke volumes about the complicated dynamics at play. Savannah looked toward the wings where Kelly had disappeared, her expression troubled. The segment that was supposed to be a fun, lighthearted conversation about new music and life updates had turned into something none of them could have predicted. And, as the show cut to commercial, the questions hanging in the air were almost tangible. What would happen next? Would Kelly and the hosts reconcile? Would this interview define how people saw this moment in all of their careers? Those were questions nobody in that studio could answer. All they knew was that they had just been part of something that would be talked about for a long time to come, and not in the way anyone had hoped. So, what do you think really pushed Kelly to her breaking point? Was Jenna out of line with her questions, or was Kelly overreacting? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and make sure you hit that subscribe button, because we'll be covering all the biggest moments in entertainment. Let us know what you would have done if you were in Kelly's position.